Hey guys, it's Gigi, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that happened recently to me in my life. And I just wanted to start off this video by saying, usually when I share these story time videos, usually it's very, outrageous and kind of lighthearted in a way, but this experience was nothing but scary, and I am so glad that I made it out alive. So the plan was simply go to Vegas for the weekend, 2 nights, 3 days. We're staying at the Cosmopolitan Hotel with 2 of my best friends and basically just have a good time. So just like the last time that I was in Vegas, I decided to drive, and this time I was physically driving. Last time my friend drove, and it definitely is a lot more stressful if you are behind the wheel, because the drive from LA to Vegas is like something like 4 hours, and it can be a lot, especially at night. So anyways, we drove down, we had fun, whatever, and actually we decided to cut our trip 1 day short because of something that happened in Vegas. I'm not gonna get into all of that. That's a completely different story time video. But anyways, we decided to leave 1 day early. We decided we had gotten our Vegas fix and we wanted to go back to LA. It was Saturday afternoon. There was not a lot of traffic at all. We're driving for probably like 2 hours now, whatever. And if any of you have driven from LA to Vegas or just in Vegas in the desert in general, I think that it's one of the most beautiful things with the mountains, and it just looks like the view goes on for miles and miles and miles, and I thought that it was so pretty, and so did my friend. So we're going through this huge valley. So I mentioned to my friends, I was like, do you guys want to like pull over and like take a few photos? Like I would love to like Instagram a photo of us, like whatever, like just like posing near the mountains or whatever. I think that it would be so beautiful. So we're all like, yeah, there are literally no other cars on the road. So I was like, okay, well, let's just do it. You know what I mean? We'll be like 5 minutes. So we pull over and I am way off the shoulder. Like I'm not in any lane. No car could have hit me, and it's bright as day out. People can see that I'm pulled over. I have my 4-ways on. Like I just literally thought that everything was okay. We knew we had gotten carried away. We were like, oh my God, what if we take one over here? Oh my God, what if we go over here? Oh my God, what if we stand like this? You know how I am. I'm just like, more pictures. So then out of literally nowhere, this sheriff car comes beaming down the freeway, like guns blazing, going so fast, his sirens on, to the point where we all turn around and we're looking at this car. So we're all watching this sheriff's car and we're kind of in awe, like what is going on? What kind of emergency? But then the sheriff car starts slowing down as it comes closer to us. I was just thinking, it can't be us. Come on, there must be something like an emergency further down the way, but it can't be us. So sure enough, he pulls up right behind our car, and at that moment we are like, I don't know, 50 feet in, like away from our car, in towards the mountains. And at this point, he's basically just sitting in his car behind our car. So we all started walking over to him, and this is the video that you guys saw. One of my friends took a video of my friend and I walking up to basically see what the sheriff wanted.
Getting pulled over.
And he was filming on my camera, so I had no idea that that video was posted. He just thought that it was funny and posted it. My friend speaks to the sheriff first, and she basically was like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, we were just taking some pictures. We're from LA, and we just thought the mountains were so beautiful, so we pulled over and took some pictures. He literally, I didn't see his face before this because his hat, the brim of his hat was like below his eyes. So he raises his head and I see his eyes, and he literally looks so mad. Like his eyes were so narrow and his teeth were grinding, and he just looked like he was so pissed for some reason. I don't even know why. Like it was beyond me. He doesn't even acknowledge what my friend just said to him. He just said, kids, get back in the car. And points like that, very, very authoritative, very rude, very angry. So we get back in the car, obviously, like he said, and he leans over, and it is just like so quiet. Like I said, there were no other cars on the road. The only thing you can hear is the click, 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 click of my 4-ways. We're just sitting there in silence. He takes his time walking around and leans down on the side of the window, and I was just thinking like, oh my God, I really hope we didn't break any kind of law. So finally, after like 30 seconds of literal quiet silence, he says, don't you know you kids could have gotten hurt out there? There are animals that you've never even heard of. You could get bit and get an infection or whatever. By the time you make it back to the car, you'll be dead. He was talking about he sees dead bodies on the side of the road all the time. And I was telling him, as you guys know, one of my biggest fears are snakes. As he was talking about it, I got goosebumps, and I basically was just telling him, thank you, sir. Oh my God, thank you so much. I would have died if I saw a snake, and I would have gotten so scared. Thank you for telling us. I mean, now we can be on our way, right? No. So then my friend, he was still filming in the back because he thought it was funny, a sheriff, whatever, I get it. And I think that that's funny too, but The sheriff then saw him filming and got even more mad. He starts screaming, grabbed the phone from my friend, turns it off, was saying, where are you gonna put this on YouTube? Just like going off, saying, oh, first now you guys are out in the mountains taking pictures and now you're taking video of me. He made my friend stop filming, obviously, and he says, you know what, you two come with me. And he's pointing at me and my friend in the front seat. So instantly we get out of the car and obey what he says. I mean, obviously he's mad at this point and I just didn't want to upset him anymore. And he says, how about you come in my car? And he is in this big truck SUV police car, very intimidating. The next thing we know, we're getting put in this car. We're sitting back there and he sits in the front seat and like for just like he did before for 30 seconds to a minute, complete silence. We're just sitting there. The next thing I know, the car starts and he starts driving away. And we basically were like, sir, where are we going first of all? And is our friend staying here? He goes, your friend can stay there and think about what he did, but you two are coming with me. I remember us looking back at each other and just thinking, I literally am looking at the most petrified human I've ever seen. And I'm sure she was thinking the same, because I felt like this was kind of some kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre messed up scary movie that we were in, and I thought that it was like a joke. Like, we didn't do anything wrong and this cop is acting like he found a dead body in our car or something. So we both look out the back of the cop car and we're basically just watching our car and our friend who's still in the car get smaller and smaller into the distance as this cop car goes faster and faster. And when I say that he was going fast, he was going extremely fast. All we could hear was the walkie-talkie, and it was like constant like 24, 24, 74, like, you know, like police talk. It was like that, but extremely like scratchy. And I was telling him, we have to be back in LA tonight. It's my friend's birthday. We have commitments in LA. Like, where are you taking us? What did we do wrong? What can we do to make it right again? Like, basically where are you taking us? And he didn't say anything. And you know, I was trying to make eye contact with him to let him know that we were scared and I wanted to get out of there, but the brim of his hat in the rearview mirror was blocking his eyes, just like before. The next thing I know, he's turning off of the road, off of the paved road, onto some dirt road. As we're going up this hill, and it was like kind of like a winding road, it was just and we kept on going further and further and further up this mountain. I felt my friend's hand, like her grip, loosen, and I looked over to her. She was pale as a ghost, sweating, and she looked horrible. And in that moment, I remembered that she had a history of panic attacks and fainting. And I start banging on the cage, but the police radio is so loud that he either can't hear me or he's ignoring me. So I'm banging on the cage, and literally I was just scared for my friend's life in that moment, and I didn't care about myself. I didn't care about my safety. I would have taken a bullet for her in that moment if I could have, but we were locked in the back of the police car. So I keep banging and screaming at the top of my lungs as my friend is literally about to pass out. She looks horrible and she's sweating and, just like I said, pale as a ghost, and I feel horrible because I feel like I put us in this whole situation because it was my idea to get out of the car to take some pictures, and then, you know, it turned into this. So I'm banging, screaming, and I finally get this officer's attention, and he turns down the radio just a little bit. It's still really loud. I said, sir, can you please give some attention to my friend? She's gonna pass out. She's having a panic attack. And I let him know. I said, you're scaring us. So he pulls over, gets out of the car, and walks slowly around to the trunk. And at this moment, I'm grabbing my friend's hand. I was like, listen, baby, I'm here for you. Don't worry. Like, everything is gonna be okay. She's like full eyes closed at this point. And I literally thought that she had passed out or something. I didn't know what was going on. He comes around the side, opens my door, puts an apple juice on my lap, and then closes the door and gets back in the driver's seat. Like, literally at the speed of light, I'm getting the straw out, putting it into the juice box, putting it right to her lips, asking her to sip, pleading for her to sip because she was so out of it. She was like, her entire face was wet at this point, but thankfully she started sucking, and I just saw the life being brought back into her face from the second that juice started hitting her, because I think that she just needed sugar, she just needed liquid, and you know what, I was thirsty in that moment, but I gave the whole juice box to her because she needed it. So now he's asking us to get out of the car, and basically my friend is like back to life, so she's giving him more attitude than ever. She's like, where am I? You brought us away from our friend. He could be baking in that car right now. He could have heat stroke. So now I look around and we are on top of this mountain overlooking all of everything. I can see where our car is at in the distance, very, very, very far, but we are extremely high up, and I was scared to get out of the car. I thought, you know, something was gonna happen. I don't even want to say it, but I thought that something bad was gonna happen. So he goes, you guys wanted a picture. This is your picture. Take your picture. And I hear this like kind of joking tone in his voice, and I just looked at him and I thought, this guy is sick. Like, now he's joking, like that he can see we're physically so scared. I let him know I didn't have my camera and I couldn't take a picture, and he goes, oh, did your friend still have it down in your car? We should have brought him too. He would have loved to film all this, wouldn't he have? And I was just thinking, like, this guy just did this to intimidate us. And just like that, he pops out of his bad cop role and says, get back in the car, I'll take you back to your friend. Just like that. After everything that we had been through with him. Just like that. After that, we didn't even take 1 second. We got back in that car and we just waited. And me and my friend kept looking at each other like, what the fuck just happened? Like, is that for real? Like, this cop is crazy. He clearly is like bipolar or something, like good cop, bad cop, but in one cop. And on the ride back, he kept the radio at a normal level and was driving as if nothing had happened. Like, I just thought back, I was banging on this cage because this radio was so loud and you couldn't hear me. And now he's just a regular volume, you know, just driving normally. So he drops us off at our car, and the first thing I look for is my friend to make sure he's still there and safe, obviously. And he is. He's in the back seat just like where we left him, sweating his face off because there was no air conditioning or anything. And he just, I remember the look on his face like, where did you guys go? He was just the most confused out of all of us. He lets us out of the car, gives us our keys back, and gives us this like kind of friendly warning or threat. I don't even know. He basically said, remember when you're driving through the desert, never get out of your car because there could be potentially dangerous animals. After all that, you have to warn us about potentially dangerous animals? Are you the potentially dangerous animal? Like, So we get back in our car, start it up, and then he speeds off. We felt like we just got back from the Twilight Zone or something. We were just like, what just happened? And I remember just sitting there for like 5 minutes, just sitting, not even leaving, not even getting back on the road. We were just like, what just happened? Like, literally, what just happened? And he was telling us when he saw us speed off, he knew something wasn't right, and he thought that that guy was taking us to like a police station or something to get arrested. And he said that literally if we didn't come back in like 2 more minutes, he was gonna start walking and hitchhiking to like a police station. So I was like, honestly, thank God you didn't do that because we are all together now. So yeah, I know a lot of you guys were wondering about that video that I posted on my Instagram, and now you know the whole story. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah, I'd love to see what you guys say in the comments, and until I see you guys next time, stay gorgeous.